Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm giving you a full detailed analysis of a 6.62 mile run I completed at a 6:43 average pace. This wasn't meant to be a race, but the data shows one of the cleanest progressions and strongest aerobic efforts I've put together recently. I'm going to break down the splits, pace graph, heart rate, cadence, elevation, and what this tells us about my fitness. Let's jump right in. So here's the overall info. Total distance, 6.62 miles. Moving time, 44:32. Average pace, 6:43 per mile. Elevation gain, 170 feet. Average heart rate, 154. Max of 175, which is pretty high, but not out of control. This run happened partially on rolling terrain, so the pacing swings make sense once we dive into the elevation and heart rate graphs. So right away, the first split jumps out. Mile 1 clocks in at 8:08. Which looks insanely slow compared to the rest of the run. But when you look at the elevation graph, it makes perfect sense. You're climbing over 80 feet in the first mile. That's a huge chunk for a single mile, and any climb above 50 feet will naturally make a warm-up mile slower. This is actually good. It shows you didn't force the pace too early, which is a mistake a lot of runners make. You approach the climb patiently, letting the heart rate rise naturally instead of spiking it at the start. Mile 2 drops dramatically to 7:40, which already tells us that Mile 1 was terrain, not fitness. Once the elevation levels out, your pace stabilizes, and by Mile 3, you're at 6:27. This is the first important threshold marker. Your legs are warmed up, heart rate is in a controlled endurance zone, cadence rises in the mid-170s, and stride opens up. These metrics show you're shifting from getting moving into the real training zone of the run. This is the strongest part of the run. Miles 3, 4, and 5 all live in that 6:10 to 6:27 zone. That's incredibly consistent given the rolling sections of the course. What's even more important is how your heart rate behaves. Instead of drifting up 5 to 8 beats per minute per mile, which is common when runners fatigue, your heart rate stays stable in the mid-150s. This stability tells me your aerobic engine is improving. Biomechanics check, cadence stays high, no major drops in efficiency. No sudden pace cliffs, no late run breakdown. This is elite level pacing discipline for a steady state effort, especially on mixed elevations. The final 0.6 miles are where things get interesting. You close at a 5:37 pace, which is faster than every full mile in the run. This isn't just I sprinted at the end. The heart rate graph shows you didn't blow up, even at 175 BPM. You kept the effort smooth. A fast finish like this one is one of the best predictors of race readiness because it shows you had energy left, you could accelerate under fatigue, you maintain form instead of collapsing, your heart rate ceiling is rising. Basically, your upper engine is getting stronger. When you look at the pace graph as a whole, the shape tells a clearer story. A slow, controlled climb, a smooth midsection, and a decisive acceleration. There's no wobbling in which the graph after mile 3. This means your stride wasn't falling apart, your cadence wasn't dipping, and you weren't overstriding. Everything leveled out. The consistency in the mid-run is the biggest sign of improvement. This is exactly what race coaches look for in high school training logs. The heart rate graph is super clean. You spike early because of the hill, nothing unusual. After mile 1, you settle around 150 to 160, which is borderline threshold territory, but with a controlled feel. Most runners see heart rate drift, meaning heart rate climbs even when pace stays the same. You didn't. Even as you held low 6 pace for 3+ miles, your heart rate stays anchored. That means your aerobic system is strong now. The final spike to 175 BPM during the fast finish isn't a problem. That shows your top end is responsive and you can still move fast without redlining. Your cadence averaged 177 steps per minute with a peak of 206 during the finishing push. This is extremely good. Anything between 170 to 185 is elite efficiency for your pace range. What I like most is that cadence didn't drop off in the middle of the run. When runners fatigue, cadence usually falls 5 to 10 steps per minute, which causes pace to collapse. But here, your cadence stays solid for miles, which again proves your strength is improving. The elevation graph is basically one big climb and then rolling terrain. First mile was a heavy climb, miles 2 to 6 were rollers, last 0.6 were downhill and flat effort. Overall, this run shows you're entering a very strong aerobic window. The combination of controlled heart rate, smooth cadence, strong run, mid-run consistency, and a fast finish. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe. I post Strava analysis, training tips, and progress updates every week, and comment below what you want me to look at next. pace, heart rate zones, or elevation strategy. Thanks for watching.